The snow falls silent, but history whispers in the frost. Tonight, we unwrap the darker gifts of the season, where merriment curdles into menace. In the gaslit streets of Victorian England, physicians prescribe deadly tinctures disguised as cures. Their bottles of laudanum and arsenic promising relief but delivering ruin. Across the centuries, the jolly red suit of Santa has been stained with crime and other shenanigans, its velvet and fur concealing violence beneath the guise of cheer. Yet the shadows of Christmas stretch further still, into the forest where Yule's darker spirits roam, the horned Krampus, the child-snatcher, and spectral wanderers who remind us that winter is not only for joy, but for reckoning. And in Oak Hill, West Virginia, the season's chill carries a modern ghost story, the disappearance of Sergeant James Lee Haynes, a man swallowed by mystery, leaving behind only questions that echo like carols sung in a minor key. Gather close, for this is no ordinary holiday tale. This is a sleigh ride into the macabre. Where the holly is poison, the bells toll for the lost, and the warmth of the hearth cannot banish the cold creeping in from the dark. Bundle up, muses. It's about to get cold. Good afternoon. It is December the 2nd. I hope that everyone remembered to blow cinnamon into their doors and cleansed out any ick from November that you may have had. Have you prepared for this month of joy and chaos, Amy?
Do you know that I forgot to do that? I do still have a cinnamon broom hanging at my door. Does that count?
Yeah. But to be fair, you don't have to wait till the 1st. You can do it any day. You can do it all day.
You can do it any day. Today will be an excellent day for me because we're recording in the afternoon today because we got a snow day.
Man. Yeah. She got a snow day for, well.
It's so little of an amount of snow, but there were so many wrecks this morning.
Yeah, there was a lot. I kept getting two things for up there. So it's been in the 30s for a few days and rain storms.
Well, it was raining here.
Heavy rain.
All of that rain that you were getting, I followed it from your house to my house.
Right.
On the weather app.
As we do. That's how weird we are with things, guys. Just so everybody knows.
Like, hey, it's raining here, and I will go
storm. And we track it all the way there.
Just let me see if your rain's gonna hit me.
This is our life.
Sometimes your bubble surrounds us, so that's fun.
Yeah,
that happens sometimes. And I giggled one time because someone said
it was around you.
Yeah, but someone said something about someone saying there was a bubble around the Charleston area that keeps it from getting some of the weather, and I'm like, they sent it up from Louisiana.
Right? It just came with it somehow. So for anybody that has no idea what in the hell we're talking about, there is the Barksdale bubble, and you can Google it, and it will tell you all about it. But sometimes weather where I live doesn't actually hit. It just literally circles around where we're at.
Like you can watch the circle form in the storm.
No, yeah, you can. It wouldn't, like, when I first moved here and everybody talked about it and everything, like, he had told me about it beforehand, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then I moved here, and then everybody was talking about it. I'm like, what in the hell is wrong with you people? And then I watched it actively myself on a radar, and I was like, what in the whole entire hell is that? So, I mean,
bubble, man.
But we always joke that sometimes if we actually get a storm that's actually bad, we're like, where you at, guys?
Don't they get on there sometimes and say, oops, sorry, we screwed up, guys?
There's a Facebook for it, so if you guys go and look at it, sometimes they'll drop the ball and they're like, oh God, sorry, we were distracted. People yell at them if they forgot to turn it on or whatever.
Hey, I got to go see Shelly over the weekend.
Yay.
Yeah, so hello to Shelly, and then also hello to Tasha at the mail place. It's because she listens, and she is a co-worker of Shelly's. So hello. Hello, Tasha.
Well, thank you, Tasha, for listening. We love hearing of people that we might encounter out in the wild.
Yes. And I haven't said Evan's name in a while. He doesn't go to my school anymore, so I don't get to see him. What you got for us today?
So I'm going to start us off with a little story time to introduce this one. So imagine, if you will, the sound of a Victorian nursery. It is 1875. The wallpaper is arsenic green, the coal is coal black, and the baby? Well, the baby is screaming. Teething is a nightmare for any parent in any century. But in the Victorian era, the solution to a crying child wasn't a soft lullaby or a cold teething ring. It was a bottle of brown syrup bought for pennies at the local grocer, right next to the flour and the gin. They called them soothing syrups, cordials, or preservatives. They promised quietness, and they delivered it, but the quiet they brought was often permanent. Today, we are going to open the medicine cabinet of the 19th century to look at the brands, the bottles, and the poisons that killed thousands of children in the name of a good night's sleep. And I'm going to start with the heavy hitters and the brands that were literally household names. Like, these were in every single home. If you walked into a Victorian home, you would definitely see one of these three on the shelf. So number one, we're going to start with probably the most popular, which is Mrs. Winslow's Soothing Syrup. The undisputed queen of the nursery, marketed as a gentle grandmotherly cure-all for teething and fussiness. The pitch: depend on it, mothers. It will give rest to yourselves and relief and health to your infants. The poison: morphine and alcohol. Each ounce contains 65 milligrams of morphine sulfate. A teaspoon contained enough morphine to kill a standard infant. It was nicknamed the baby killer by medical reformers in the early 20th century.
I'm sorry. So
morphine,
did they give dosage wrong? Like, if your baby weighs these many pounds?
As far as I can tell, there was no real measurements for any of it. And considering a teaspoon of this contained enough morphine to kill a standard infant, I'm going to guess probably not measuring much.
The phrase standard infant is a little disturbing.
It really is. I thought the same.
Standard. What are the standards for infants?
I'm not sure.
I don't either. I'm going on mute.
Okay. So there is the story of Harry Fattel, an infant whose mother gave him the syrup to induce sleep. The doctor at the inquest noted the child's pupils were pinpricked, which is a classic sign of narcotic poisoning, and he never woke up. And that was standard practice. That was so common that they didn't even question anything. So, number two, Godfrey's Cordial, the working class staple. It was cheaper than gin and easier to get than clean water. The pitch: known as the comfort or simply the quietness. The poison: opium and molasses.
Bambi.
Right.
So, I don't think I ever realized what that was. And do you know how many times I have read Anne of Green Gables?
Oh, yeah.
And the cherry cordial that she served to, oh, that's what, oh dear.
So anytime really, and if you like look any of these up, cordial is very, very commonly used on different brands, not just this one. Soothing is also used a lot, but cordial is one of the bigger ones. They've got many brands that have cordial in the name.
But isn't there like an actual not alcoholic thing that you can buy now that is called cordial?
Probably so.
So like a fruit juice or something? I don't know. No, I have to look that up. Thanks.
Now I need to know. Right. So Godfrey's was essentially sweet, sticky opium sludge. It was often brewed in the back of grocery stores, so the strength varied wildly. One batch might just sedate a child. The next one may stop their heart. It was used extensively for baby farmers. I'll explain what that is later so that you'll understand. They would dose babies with Godfrey's to keep them in a stupor and slowly starve them to death because a drugged baby doesn't cry for food.
That is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, it gets worse once I get to them. So then there is number 3, Dalby's Carminative. It is a slightly more upscale choice, often endorsed by midwives. It cured wind, watery gripes, and convulsions, which is a pretty wide range of things. The poison, opium, oil of peppermint, and alcohol. While it smelled minty and fresh, it was just another opiate delivery system. Medical journals of the time reported that even small doses could be fatal if the bottle wasn't shaken properly, as the opium would settle at the bottom, meaning the last spoonful of the bottle was a concentrated death sentence.
Oh.
Yeah.
What years is this
We were in around 1875. Most of these things went into the 1900s. So from 1875 to around 1900 or a little after. Yeah.
Oh, baby, this is terrible.
It's crazy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I know. Okay, so those were the top 3 that you would almost certainly find in any home, especially with children. But it wasn't just the big names. There was a whole industry of copycats and competitors, each trying to out-poison the other with new and improved formulas. So let's run through that roster of toxicity. Number 4, Street's Infant Quietness. The name says it all. They weren't selling health, they were selling silence. The poison, opium. There was a chilling account from a chemist in Manchester who admitted to selling 5 or 6 gallons of quietness every single week. He described customers buying it in jugs like milk. The face. Yeah. Number 5, Atkinson's Royal Infants Preservative. Using the word royal to imply safety and prestige, of course. The poison, opium, and chalk. Yeah. The chalk was supposed to settle the stomach like an antacid would.
Sure.
Right. But it mostly just caused severe constipation, combined with opiates, which also causes constipation. This led to bowel obstructions that killed many infants who survived the initial overdose.
Baby, this is awful. I feel like at some point you're going to, like, this is bad. I'm going to mute myself and just live through the nightmare.
So, number 6 is Dr. Farney's teething syrup, an American favorite created by a, quote, doctor, and I use that term very loosely. The poison, alcohol, morphine, and chloroform.
Okay.
Chloroform.
I got nothing.
Used to knock out surgery patients in a teething syrup.
How bad were babies malnourished that they were screaming so bad that parents had to dope up their kids?
See, that's my question. Because they market all of these as teething things.
Ma'am.
I've been through teething not just with my own, but with lots of other babies. And ain't not one time in my life have I thought, I just really gotta chloroform this kid because, like, it's really starting to get on my nerves. Like, what takes you to that level?
Postpartum depression that would have caused you to be tried as a witch.
I will say that. But that's true. There are questions that you gotta ask yourself. And I mean, to be fair, Victorian era, there wasn't a whole lot going on as far as health and help. So, you know.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. As I said, chloroform. It was added to break fevers, which it did by depressing the central nervous system to the point of collapse. So, number 7, Cop's baby's friend. Perhaps the most cynical name of them all. The poison was morphine sulfate. Later, exposure called this the king of baby killers, because we had a queen, so we got to have another. Doctors reported cases where a friend dose was given and the baby fell asleep, turned blue, and died of respiratory failure in just hours. The parents, often poor and uneducated, thought the baby had just died of convulsions or SIDS before the term existed. Most of these cases, the parents thought that it was convulsions or what we now know as SIDS.
A friend dose.
Right.
What a phrase.
I know. And that was a slogan.
You knocked your kid out so you can, I don't know.
I don't know either. If you thought opiates were the only danger, think again. The Victorians had a love affair with heavy metals also. They put arsenic in their wallpaper, lead in their paint, and mercury in their babies. You heard that right.
Oh dear.
Right. Yeah. So we're going to start with number 8, which is Steedman's soothing powders. A powder, not a syrup, easy to mix into jam or milk to regulate the bowels or help with teething. The poison, calomel. Calomel is 26% mercury by weight. So...
yeah. Okay.
Mercury.
It's like the stuff in a thermometer.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Let's swallow that.
That's the stuff. It caused something called pink disease or acrodynia. Symptoms included bright pink hands and feet, peeling skin, loss of teeth, ironic for a teething powder, and extreme light sensitivity. It wasn't until the mid-20th century that the link was fully proven, meaning Steedman's was poisoning children well into the 1900s. So there's that. Yeah, a lot of these go beyond then.
And it took that long for them to realize what was the issue?
What the problem was, yeah.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. So number 9... we have Dr. James Soothing Syrup Cordial. And I feel like they're just adding these names in with their other crap. Like, this has entirely too many names, but it's got cordial in it. So people's like, shit, yeah.
And it's soothing.
Was heroin.
Jesus.
Right. Yes, that's right. I did say that. Yeah. Heroin was actually marketed by Bayer in the late 1890s as a non-addictive substitute for morphine.
Non-addictive.
Yeah. It found its way into children's cough medicines immediately, of course. It was excellent at suppressing coughs because it suppressed the breathing. So
I actually did not know that.
Can't breathe, can't cough.
Well, you can't cough. Good Lord.
Right.
I'm still beginning to wonder how the earth is still populated at this point.
I know, between
everybody ought to be dead.
The witches and whatever the hell was going on back there in the Victorian era. I don't know. So number 10, we have Winchell's teething syrup, of course. The poison was morphine and anise. This one was flavored to taste like black licorice. Children liked it. They would ask for it. It created a cycle of addiction in toddlers who would become irritable, going through withdrawal, when the medicine wore off, prompting the mother to give more medicine to soothe them.
So it was Jägermeister with morphine.
Yeah.
It was a NyQuil before its time.
So the darkest chapter in the story involves the baby farmers. So now I will tell you about them. These were women who took in illegitimate children for a lump sum payment. Their business model relied on the children dying very quickly and cheaply. They didn't strangle them. That would be murder. Instead, they bought Godfrey's cordial.
Remember when I asked you about the orphanages? Mm-hmm. We're getting there, aren't we?
This is essentially what this was, yes.
Cool.
Yeah, I know. Ecstatic. They would keep the infants in a permanent state of narcotic stupor. The babies didn't cry, so they didn't annoy the neighbors. They didn't eat, so they cost literally nothing to feed. Eventually, they simply faded away. The cause of death was always listed as debility or failure to thrive, but the real cause was on the shelf in a brown bottle. It wasn't until the Pharmacy Act of 1868 and later the Pure Food and Drug Act in 1906 in the U.S. that the tide turned. Journalist Samuel Hopkins Adams wrote a famous series called The Great American Fraud, exposing these medicines. He published lists of ingredients showing the world that Mrs. Winslow was actually a drug pusher. Labels were finally forced to say contains opium or contains morphine. Sales plummeted. Parents were horrified.
I'm surprised.
Should have been. Well, the way I feel about it, like most of the stuff, of course, took place in Europe, right? Mm-hmm. At least that's the way they make it sound. But the thing also is the Pharmacy Act took place in 1868, but not until 1906 in this country. So were we just cool with it until then? But then you think of like now, our drug like
problem?
The pharmaceutical drug industry doesn't, I mean, let's be real. Nowadays even, they don't include a lot of things. And a lot of stuff has not still been approved by the Food and Drug Administration. So,
right. There's so many things out there that are like, this is great for this ailment. It's not regulated by the FDA.
And at the end of this, I'm going to kind of discuss some of that also because people don't often think of this type of stuff near enough. Okay, so we look back at the Victorians and laugh at their stiff collars and repressed manners, but their nurseries were battlegrounds. Between the arsenic wallpaper, the lead paint, and the morphine syrup, it is a miracle anyone survived childhood in the 19th century. Not untrue. The next time you are frustrated with a crying baby at 3 a.m. and you reach for the baby Tylenol or grape water, take a moment to be thankful. It might not work instantly, and it certainly won't knock them out cold, but at least it isn't quietness. And I want to break in between these real quick just to say that I chose this topic because a lot of people don't know about the way things were back then. And it wasn't that long ago. Like, looking at it in that perspective, my generation's grandparents were born and lived through some of these things. And that's not that far back. Now on to some more familiar names that are still around, which we had discussed a little beforehand. These are very, very common still today, not in the same way that they were, obviously. We've talked about the nursery. Now let's walk into the parlor. A disease called neurasthenia or nervous exhaustion. I think I have that. Pretty sure.
So many of us do.
I don't know what they call it today, but I've got whatever that was. The Industrial Revolution was loud, trains were fast, and life was electric. Doctors claimed American and British brains were simply overheating. The cure was tonics and elixirs. You couldn't walk a block without a salesman trying to sell you a bottle of brown sludge to revitalize the blood or restore your manhood. Some of these became sodas that you drink with your burger today. Some were literal poison, and some were just beef fat and pepper sauce. Welcome to the medicine show.
Good Lord.
Right.
Did you say beef fat and pepper sauce?
Beef fat and pepper sauce. Yeah.
Well, okay.
Ew.
By the way, we probably do have nervous exhaustion. A state of extreme mental and physical fatigue caused by excessive stress.
See, I told you I had it.
Characterized by symptoms, right? Like chronic tiredness, lack of motivation,
absolutely,
irritability, and physical issues such as headaches and sleep problems.
Wow. I have literally every single thing on that list. So
yeah, you do.
I'm going to eat some of these drinks, but they won't do the same for me anymore. So, all right, cool. We have that. So if you go to the pharmacy today and the drugs are in the back, in the Victorian era, the drugs were at the counter mixed with carbonated water. Carbonated water was thought to be a health tonic in itself, mimicking the natural mineral springs. I don't know how that's the same. But plain water is boring, so pharmacists started adding kicks. So here are the brands that you may know and love and the drugs that they used to contain. Number 1, of course, Coca-Cola. It was a brain tonic. John Pemberton, a Confederate veteran addicted to morphine, invented it. The original name was Pemberton's French Wine Coca. The ingredients were cocaine, caffeine, and alcohol, specifically wine. It was a cure for morphine addiction, indigestion, and nerve troubles. When Atlanta passed prohibition laws in 1886, Pemberton took the alcohol out and replaced it with sugar syrup. He kept the cocaine until 1903.
Oh, God.
The pitch, no, but listen, the pitch was the ideal brain tonic, and it was marketed to intellectuals and hungover businessmen.
Hungover businessmen.
Coke, ladies and gentlemen, of the drink variety.
Coke indeed.
The brain tonic.
I mean,
we needed that for our whatever that was called.
He probably had it too. We had the nerve trouble.
Well, I mean, I would have remembered had I not. Nervous exhaustion.
That's it. Yeah. We were too tired to remember that. Are any of these?
Listen, when you market something to cure everything from morphine addiction to indigestion and nerve trouble, I mean, good for you, because you're covering pretty much all the bases there, but you weren't, of course. I don't know.
They just eventually traded a cocaine addiction for a caffeine addiction, which is what.
Well, not only that, it was to cure morphine addiction, and then you just got coke addiction out of that. Literally, cocaine addiction. And then you went from that, once you had to take that out, and got caffeine. So basically, prohibition caused him to take out the wine. Mm-hmm. And then, obviously, the cocaine couldn't stay later. Mm-hmm. So he just replaced it with syrup, and now you literally get what you have now, which is caffeine and syrup.
Pick your poison, literally.
I mean, right? Yeah.
So you said it's marketed to intellectuals and businessmen. Are any of these that you're going to say marketed toward women specifically?
Not these, but some of the ones later. Yes.
Okay.
And not specifically, but yes, specifically. It doesn't say as much, but yes. The second one we have is 7-Up, which was a mood stabilizer. The original name, bear with me on this one, was Bib Label Lithiated Lemon Lime Soda. Catchy, huh?
Oh. No.
No.
Bib Label Lithiated Lemon Lime Soda. That's like a tongue twister.
It really is.
Lithiated Lemon Lime Soda. I hate it.
I don't know who the hell came up with that horse shit, but whatever. You couldn't order
happy
it.
Horse shit. It's happy horse shit, Bambi. It's a mood stabilizer.
Well, that's true. As long as it's a happy horse shit. Yeah. Obviously, the main ingredient of 7-Up at the time was lithium. Lithium is a powerful mood stabilizer used today for bipolar disorder, obviously. 7-Up was originally a patent medicine to cure hangovers and sluggishness. It was a heavy sedative. You drank it to calm down. And they didn't remove the lithium until 1948.
My God.
My mother was 3.
Oh, no.
My mother was 3 years old. My father was 4.
Heavens to Murgatroyd. Oh, dear. All right.
Yeah.
And we wonder why there's so much addiction.
Yeah, exactly. It was literally bred down into all of us.
Yes.
In some way. Yeah. So, number 3, some may know this, some may not, is Dr. Pepper, which was, quote, the energy drink of the time. It was created...
I didn't remember that.
Yeah, I couldn't remember what specifically it was marketed as, but yeah, it was an energy drink.
Okay.
It was created in Waco, Texas in 1885, and they are very, very proud of that. Like, the myth was that it supposedly contained prune juice. It never did, not once. Correct. It was marketed as a brain food that aided in digestion, the prune juice, and restored vim, vigor, and vitality.
Oh, dear. It was
whatever the hell that means. The slogan was, drink a bite to eat at 10, 2, and 4. And that was based on medical theories that sugar crashes happened at those times, and you needed a Dr. Pepper to keep your constitution up.
Okay.
Number 4, We have something called Moxie, which was the nerve food, which is weird because it wasn't a food. Before Coke, there was Moxie. It's why we use the word Moxie to mean courage today.
I never knew that.
I know. Me either. That was one of the things I learned from this one. The main ingredient is gentian root, and it was specifically marketed to cure softening of the brain and loss of manhood, which was a Victorian euphemism for erectile dysfunction. The reality was it tasted bitter and medicinal, and it wasn't a treat. It was a treatment. So this drink firmed up your brain and your crotch, I guess. I mean, if you're marketing things, they went with the brain and the peen. So
again, no vag.
I mean, right.
Well, they were really scared of it back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah. If you wanted your brain firmer and also your penis, Moxie. Okay.
Why is that not a euphemism for boner?
It should be.
It ought to be. I think we're going to make it happen.
I think we should. And what would this list be without the useless, completely made-up cure-alls that started so much of that we just have to try it that goes on even today? We use the term snake oil salesman to mean fraud, but there was a real man and real snake oil. Meet Clark Stanley, the rattlesnake king.
Well, I can't wait.
You should be excited because
I am.
Oh, my damn. So, number 5 on this list, although it's a separate list, Clark Stanley's snake oil liniment. That was another word that they used a lot, was liniment. In 1893 at the Chicago World's Fair, Stanley stood before a crowd. He pulled a live rattlesnake out of a sack, sliced it open, and boiled it in a pot right there in front of everybody. He skimmed the fat off the top and bottled it right then and there, and the crowd went wild.
I mean,
why wouldn't you?
Did he?
They watched it happen, so you know what I mean? Right.
I hate it here.
So he claimed he learned the secret from Hopi medicine men. It cured rheumatism, neuralgia, sciatica, and lame backs.
As a person with arthritis in my back and sciatica, I'd have probably been all over this back in the day.
I don't know if I watched him pull a snake out of a bag and boiled it in front of me and just sliced it open and squeezed it in a bottle, basically. I don't see. Yeah, see?
I don't like that.
I don't know that I would either.
It would not have been uncommon and still would not be uncommon for people to eat snake of any type, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Right.
So why is it suddenly a cure?
Exactly. That was back in 1893, as I said. And then the big bust came in 1917 when federal agents seized a shipment of said snake oil and they analyzed it. Here's what they found. Mineral oil, 99%. Beef fat, 1%. Capsaicin, which is red pepper, to make your skin tingle so you thought it was doing something. Snake content, 0%.
It's grand.
So there's your beef fat and capsaicin.
The capsaicin still actually makes sense because cayenne pepper in stuff to make their own liniments, ointments. Which
yes, they do. It affects the red blood cells. Like
yes,
that's like lip plumpers and all that. They put them in it to make they're really good. Well, some of them are really good, but like
it's probably more natural with the considering the other things that go into things.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. If I had to pick between that and God knows what they put in most, well, especially nowadays, most of that stuff, I'll just give me a pepper. I'll slap that shit on my lips myself. Put some chapstick over and be done. So he was fined $20, which is about $400 today. But he gave us the permanent symbol for medical fraud, $20. So he got a $400 fine for that. And think of the amount of people that he sold that shit to.
Right.
Between 1893, and 1917.
And today, a company discovered doing this would be fined millions
of dollars. Yeah. So now back to our numbered list. I had to throw him in there in between because we kind of went into that what the hell is this era.
I'm so glad you did, though.
Yeah, me too. Well, and I found it really interesting because I didn't realize that's where that actually came from. Exactly. So number 6, the Kickapoo Indian Sagwa, the most famous medicine show troupe. They traveled with Native Americans, or actors pretending to be, who performed dances and war cries. A blood purifier made of roots and herbs known only to the red man. It was mostly stale beer, aloe, which is a laxative, and alcohol. It didn't cure anything, but the laxative effect made you feel empty, which people mistook for being cleansed.
Okay.
Right.
Alrighty. Why didn't they just sell it as a laxative?
Right. And then I guess you would, although it was stale beer, I'm assuming it would have some sort of effect on you to where you would feel something from that. Shit, I don't know.
Don't either. I got nothing.
So not all quackery was about feeling better. This is the fun part that I was talking about. Some of it was about looking better, and for the Victorians, beauty was pain. Literally. Dr. Campbell's safe arsenic complexion wafers. Pure blood means clear skin was one of their slogans.
That's awful. Oh, no. I assume that these are not communion wafers.
No.
But it's pure blood. What? I don't understand.
Right. Yeah. So arsenic destroys your red blood cells. If you have fewer red blood cells, your skin becomes pale and translucent. It's the consumptive chic look that was very popular. The ingredient.
Consumption?
Yeah. Obviously is arsenic.
People wanted to look like they had consumption. Am I understanding that properly?
You are. Yeah, the paler and more translucent your skin was, the hotter it was, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I've been pasty my whole damn life, and
you're pasty, but you're freckled, so you're not like.
Well, that's true.
Looking
some color. Can you imagine what that looks like? I mean,
I keep picturing people walking around gray and on the verge of death.
That's it. You nailed it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Apparently, women and some men would nibble these wafers. It did make them pale, but it also caused their hair to fall out and kidney failure and a slow, agonizing death. But hey, at least they didn't have freckles.
Oh my God. Life cure. My whole life, I've just read these dumb things.
I mean, so bad. Maybe not that bad.
Maybe not that bad, but one time I did put a raisin outside in a glass of rainwater every day for 3 or 4 days and then rub them on my face thinking I was going to wake up the next day and have 0 freckles.
Yeah, how'd that work out?
Have you seen my freckles?
Right.
I have one freckle that freckles so hard that even filters can't delete it. It's that weird birthmark. It's my witch's mark. But
I never bothered.
I just think at some point, if you are a freckled person, they should dissolve at a specific age because it's not cute anymore.
I never really thought about that. So number 2, which is just comical, is the electric belt by Dr. Scott's. This device was a literal belt worn under the clothes with metal discs and a battery in it. Electricity was new and magical, and they thought that it was the source of life, and it claimed to cure nervous debility, kidney trouble, and again, male weakness. The reality, though, was that most did absolutely nothing. However, some of the high-end ones actually delivered a mild electric shock to the wearer's nether regions. If nothing else, it was certainly stimulating. Yay for the male weakness people.
A very early tens unit to put on your peen.
Yes. Number 3 is Dr. Williams pink pills for pale people. And I love saying that.
I'm going to try it. I don't think I can. That's a lot of P's. Dr. Williams pink pills for pale people.
See, it's not that hard. Anywho, it's one of the most famous slogans in advertising history. Obviously, genius. It was said to cure sclerosis. That's just anemia, just so you know. And general sadness.
I mean, yeah.
Right.
Pink pills would make me happy.
Yeah. The ingredients were iron oxide and sugar. The verdict was that this was just a classic example of a placebo. It wasn't poison, which is good, but it wasn't medicine either. It was a sugar pill wrapped in brilliant marketing, and it made the creators millions. As it should.
Good for them.
Just for coming up with pink pills for pale people is enough for me.
I mean,
I'd have tried that one.
Yeah.
One, look at me. I am pale.
Yeah, you are.
And 2, sometimes I have general sadness. And anemia, to be fair. So it wouldn't have helped a whole lot, I guess, but it wouldn't have hurt me either because it's got iron in it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Then we get into some interesting ones. Number 4 is strychnine tonics. Various names often sold as Metcalfe's cocoa wine or simply iron and strychnine. Strychnine causes muscles to twitch and convulse. In very small doses, Victorians believed this tightened the system and made you stronger. It was the first performance-enhancing drug. Marathon runners in the 1904 Olympics were injected with strychnine to keep them running. The reality was, of course, it was rat poison, still is. The line between the stimulating dose and a deadly dose was literally razor thin.
Wow.
Yeah, that's fun. So the era of the snake oil salesman eventually died out, killed by the same laws that stopped the baby killers. But look around your grocery store today. The energy drinks promising focus, the detox teas promising a cleanse, the supplements that aren't FDA approved, that most aren't even a little bit afraid to try out for the sake of something. We traded cocaine for caffeine and arsenic for Botox. We still want the magic bottle and we want the quick fix. The only difference is today, the snake oil just comes in a plastic bottle with a nice font on it. And at least it probably won't kill you immediately. Welcome back to 2025. What do you think, Amy? It's a lot of shit.
It really is. And the bad part about it is that I don't know, other than FDA regulations, that it's really gotten any better.
And that was kind of my whole point of this entire episode. I mean, obviously, we're not still poisoning our babies like that and all that. But like in those times in their medical care and what they can and cannot do and all that stuff versus now, it's no different.
Correct. Like currently I am drinking an energy drink disguised as being healthy because it has a letter and a number on it. Do you see that letter and that number? I don't want sued. But
right. Yeah.
It does none of the things. This, however, in this particular flavor is delicious and very hard to find. It's my favorite.
Is that a juice?
Yes. It's pretty sure just juice. Let me see.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I might be able to do that, but I can't associate that letter and number with anything other than tomato. And
correct.
I don't
do spicy tomato juice.
I don't care if it's spicy or not. My tomato juice goes in pasta.
Correct.
And that is all. All right. Well, we did that. What we did there.
Yeah, we did.
So you get to bring it up today. Not that mine are like making people jump for damn joy.
Bambi, I'm going to tell you some Santa suit shenanigans.
Okay.
Just wondering, are you on the naughty list or the nice list this year?
This year or just like today? Because to be fair, I think we both know the answer to that.
Man, I've never been on the nice list a day in my life.
Me either. There's too many things to factor into that. Yeah, hell no.
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 Yeah, so I decided that since most of the time I kind of bring it down with stories of death and murder and disappearances, that I would try to make this segment a little bit lighter. And as I said, I named it Santa Suit Shenanigans, which is kind of hard to say. And I'm going to be discussing a few slightly humorous crimes that have been committed by perpetrators wearing Santa suits.
This is going to be fun.
Well, most of them are fun. Well, some of them are fun.
Well,
oh, there's like one.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Okay. The earliest crime that I could find linked to a Santa suit was the 1927 robbery of the First National Bank of Cisco, Texas. And that was nearly 98 years ago. This isn't a funny story. I'm throwing it in for informational purposes. I mean, it's a little bit funny. He's wearing a Santa suit. On December 23rd, 1927, Marshall Ratliff, now Marshall as a first name, not as a police person, an ex-con disguised as Santa, entered the bank, was greeted warmly by townfolk and children, and then revealed the robbery plan. His accomplices were Henry Helms, Robert Hill, and Louis Davis. The group attempted to steal money, but were met with resistance. A shootout erupted, killing 2 police officers and 2 civilians. The robbers fled. This sparked the largest manhunt in Texas history at the time. Ratliff was eventually captured and sentenced to prison, and was later lynched by a mob after killing a jailer during an escape attempt. Okay. This one might not be funny either. There really is going to be one, and I am going to get there eventually. In December of 2011, at the Berlin Christmas markets, there were reports of a man dressed as Santa offering free drinks to festival goers. Cherry brandy, vodka, and mulled wine was what he was offering. At least 8 people were reported ill. A 15-year-old girl drank cherry brandy laced with a date rape drug. That's not funny at all. Incidentally, in Berlin, you have to be 16 to purchase and consume beer and wine in public without an adult. At 14 to 15 years old, you can drink beer and wine in public only with a parent or legal guardian present. And 18 years and older can purchase and consume any type of alcoholic beverage, including spirits. So let's get back to the victims. 2 others consumed vodka spiked with ecstasy. Victims vomited, lost consciousness, and required hospital treatment. And beyond the Santa suit, the suspect was described as tall, blonde, and in his mid-40s. Festival organizers offered a reward for information, and shoppers were warned to avoid accepting drinks from strangers. And this next one is funny. I mean, I guess that depends on your sense of humor. And if you're listening to this episode, or this podcast in general, I have to presume that your sense of humor is as dark as ours, or a little on the macabre side.
If not, I'm sorry.
Macabre.Musings. We talk about weird things here. Randy Lang, 57, from the Monterey Peninsula in California, was nicknamed Cannabis Santa, or Stoner Claus. On January 5th, 2015, Lang, dressed as Santa, entered a Buffalo Wild Wings restaurant in Seaside, California, and was carrying a duffel bag filled with Mary Jane. He began wrapping cannabis in napkins and handing it out to patrons and employees, telling them he was Santa and had gifts for them. He even placed a large amount of the devil's lettuce into the bar's tip jar. Police were called in at around 4 p.m. because they couldn't wait 20 more minutes, which is what I would have done because 4:20.
I would have made.
I wondered if he was thinking he could get by with this for 20 minutes and be arrested at 4:20.
Probably so.
I would like to know the time of the
I
arrest.
would think so. Because
it's 4:19.
Yeah, me too.
The Jolly Guy was found with over 2 pounds of pre-packaged ganja. He was booked on suspicion of furnishing the marijuana. Pretty sure they saw him pass out the marijuana.
No proof at all, huh?
Suspicion of furnishing marijuana, by the way, is a violation of California Health and Safety Code 11360A. Side note, recreational pot was legalized in California on November 9th, 2016, with the passage of Proposition 64, and legal sales began January 1st, 2018. And I think what happened here is the space-time continuum had a mix-up and spat Stoner Claus out 3 years too early. I'm just saying.
I agree.
It seems that throughout the history of the suit, shenanigans have been reported. Drunken Santas, flashing Santas, thieving Santas, you name it. The crime, I bet, has been committed at some point in a Santa suit. I even read the report of a Santa. Now, this one's not funny. But he lured a child onto his motorcycle, and I think it was like a motorcycle with a sidecar, with a stuffed reindeer. And he was chased down by the child's father and found hiding in the storage room of a bar. He got arrested.
That's good. The hiding part, I have a problem with.
I mean, don't worry. I'm going to bring it down again with a missing moment.
I mean, mine's fun.
It's not what this one is. I know you tell me, but then I try to forget, which isn't hard because I could forget my name right now.
It's the not Santa type Christmas and Yule characters.
I'm here for it.
So not joyous creatures, but
creatures nonetheless.
Okay, we have sanitized the dark. We have taken the winter solstice, the longest, deadliest night of the year, and we have drowned it in fun, colorful electric lights. We have traded the fear of freezing to death for the anxiety of shopping lists. We have replaced the wild, hungry spirits of the old world with the salesman in a suit. But the dark remembers. So before the Victorian era softened the edges of Christmas, which is very hard to believe, they softened anything after the first segment. But apparently they did. Midwinter was not a time of comfort. It was a time of survival. The sun was dying. The crops were gone. The wolves were scratching at the door. And the entities that watched you from the tree line were not checking a list to see if you were nice or not. They would check and see if you were weak, if you were lazy, and if you were tasty. So today, we turn off the fairy lights. We are going back to the roots of Yule. We are traveling to the Alps and to the frozen fields of Iceland and the butcher shops of France. Forget the elf on the shelf. Lord, don't I wish that I could. Tonight, we meet the butcher, the devil, and the scarecrow, and the cat, and the ghost. Since Friday the 5th is Krampus, I am going to start with his story.
I'm always ready for a good Krampus story. You know that.
Okay. So they called him the Alpine Devil. We call him Krampus. We begin in the Austrian Alps. The air here is thin and sharp enough to cut your lungs. It is December 5th, Krampus, and you know his name. He has become a pop culture icon, a mascot for the cynical. But strip away the B-movies and the plush toys, and you are left with something truly primal. Krampus is not a bad Santa. He is the shadow of Saint Nicholas, where Nicholas is the bishop, the symbol of divine order and generosity. Krampus is the beast of the earth. He is older than Jesus. He is the horned god, the satyr, the wild man enslaved by the church but never tamed. Picture him as the folklore describes. He is not a man in a suit. He is towering, covered in matted black goat fur that smells like wet musk and sulfur. And one foot is a cloven hoof. The other is a bear claw, a hybrid of predators. His tongue is a serpentine muscle that lolls out, dripping into the snow. And he does not bring coal. Coal is a passive-aggressive gift. Krampus brings violence, and he enjoys it. He carries a bundle of birch branches, and in the old legends, he doesn't just tap you with them. He whips the skin until you break. The lashings were meant to beat the sin out of the body, the physical exorcism of a year's worth of misdeed. The whip is the mercy. The true horror of Krampus is the sack on his back. In the darkest tales, Krampus doesn't leave a warning. He takes the child, he stuffs them into a wicker basket or a heavy sack and hauls them up the mountain. Some legends say he takes them to his lair to eat them. Others say he drags them straight to the gates of hell. There is a psychological terror here. The idea that your parents cannot protect you, that if you cross a line, the safety of the hearth is violated by a beast that has the permission of the saint to hurt you. So that is Krampus. So on to the more difficult to say words. I can.
Well, that first name looks like Lord Farquaad.
So I was saying it a little different than that. But next up we have the butchers, which are Père Fouettard and Hans Trapp or Trump. Either way. If Krampus is a beast, our next monsters are worse. Travel west with me across the Rhine into France and the Alsace region. Here, the monsters don't have horns, they have aprons. Meet Père Fouettard or the Father Whipper.
These people, these creatures, these things, have a thing for the whoopings.
They do.
I bet they have Appalachian ancestors.
Well, you got to think of where our ancestors came from.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Yeah. So his origin story is the stuff of modern slasher films. The legend, dating back to the 12th century, tells of 3 wealthy boys on their way to a religious boarding school. They get lost in the winter forest and knock on the door of a butcher. The butcher welcomes them in. He warms them by the fire. And then while they sleep, he slits their throats. He doesn't just kill them, he chops them into pieces and puts them in a salting tub. He plans to sell them as pork. It is a story of absolute human depravity, cannibalism for profit. However, St. Nicholas eventually discovers the crime and resurrects the boys, the miracle for the story. But he punishes the butcher. He forces the man into eternal servitude. The butcher becomes Père Fouettard. He follows St. Nicholas dressed in dirty robes, his face blackened with soot and ash, carrying a whip and a bag of salt, a reminder of his crime. He is the specter of the murderer, eternally chained to the symbol of innocence. But if Father Whipper is a servant, Hans Trapp is a nightmare in his own right. In the Alsace region, Hans Trapp is the Black Knight, and unlike the others, he was real. Hans von Trotha was a 15th century German knight, a man so cruel and corrupt he was excommunicated by the Pope. The legend says that after his exile, he went mad. He retreated into the deep forests of Palatinate, living like an animal. He developed a craving for human flesh. The story goes that he would disguise himself as a scarecrow, standing perfectly still in the fields by the edge of the woods. He would wait for hours, straw stuffed into his clothes, until a child wandered too close. And then, snatch! He would drag them to his castle and roast them. The legend says he was only stopped when God finally intervened, striking him with lightning as he was about to bite into a young boy. Now, he wanders as a boogeyman on Christmas Eve, a tall, scarecrow-like figure in a black coat searching for one last meal.
I have never heard that. That was... Holy crap. Made me think of Jeepers Creepers. He's the creeper.
Yeah.
So if God intervened, is he just searching for that last meal and can't actually eat it?
I mean, probably not. He's probably just wandering around looking.
I want to know what his castle looks like.
That would suck. I know, me too. And how did he build that?
He magicked it.
Just all on his own?
Like Elsa. He just sung it into existence. Same.
That's what I would do if I could. I would have a castle also.
And a dragon.
With a moat full of gators.
I mean, why not?
Okay. Next up, we have the tapping at the window. Let's stay in the Palatinate region of Germany and later the isolated Dutch communities of Pennsylvania. Here, the horror is quieter. It is the horror of ambiguity. Belsnickel. He is not a demon. He is a man, often short, dressed in tattered, filthy furs or pelts. He wears a mask, or sometimes his face is just blackened with coal. He looks like a homeless drifter, a wild man of the woods who has broken into your house. In the 1800s, Belsnickel visits were terrifying performance art. A neighbor or relative would dress up unrecognizable and come to the house weeks before Christmas. He taps on the window with a switch. Tap, tap, tap. When the children open the door, he doesn't ho, ho, ho. He is chaotic. He is manic. He throws candy on the floor, but it's a trap. As the children scramble on their hands and knees to pick the candy up, Belsnickel strikes their backs with a switch. He whips their fingers. It is very confusing and painful, but a lesson. Greed is punished. Pleasure comes with pain. He interrogates them. He knows their secrets. He forces them to recite prayers, and if they stutter, he snaps the whip. He is the erratic, abusive uncle of Christmas folklore. He represents the fear that the authority figures in your life are not safe, that the person giving you the gift is also the one that's going to be hurting you. So Uncle Belsnickel sounds great. Yeah.
Was he a member of that church that does blanket training?
I mean,
because when you reach for the fun thing, they're going to punish you for it.
Right. Could be.
That's crazy.
I know. Here, have
okay.
Smack.
Just kidding.
So rude.
Very.
All right. So next up we have The Beast in the Snow. We leave the forests now and we go north to the black lava fields and glaciers of Iceland. In this landscape, you don't fear the devil. You fear the cold. You fear the elements. And the avatar of that fear is Yule. Most may know him as the Yule Cat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I know who you're talking about.
I have heard of both, did not realize they were the same. So he has a name. It's Yule. This is not a house cat. This is a monster the size of a house. A feline beast with eyes like burning coals and whiskers like razor wire. It prowls the snowy countryside on Christmas Eve, looking into the lighted windows of the farmhouses. What's it looking for? Well, it's checking your clothes, of course. The legend says that the Yule Cat eats anyone who has not received new clothing for Christmas. Now, to modern ears, that sounds ridiculous. The fashion police monster. But think about it in the context of the 18th century Iceland. Wool was the economy. Survival depended on processing the wool, shearing, spinning, weaving before the deep freeze set in. If the household didn't finish the work, there were no new clothes. If you didn't have new clothes, it meant you were lazy. It meant you hadn't contributed to the survival of your family. The Yule Cat was the enforcer of work ethic. It doesn't just bite, it devours. It swallows the lazy child whole. It is a reminder that in the harsh winter, if you do not work, you do not survive. Nature will come for you, and nature is hungry. Imagine the purrs.
Oh, dear.
That.
From the Yule Cat.
Yeah, like.
It'd be like thunder.
Yeah. Just shake your whole house.
And also, imagine being so poor that you couldn't afford wool to make new clothes.
Right.
That one kind of made me sad.
I know. Especially because it's the kid. You know what I mean? Because, like, in theory, it would be the parents that would have to work wool and do all the things. So, like, why does your kid get eaten if you're lazy? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I don't like that one. The Yule Cat's messed up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Next, we have the Pale Horse. We end our first journey in this December series. And yes, I will be doing one for every episode with just the characters here in Wales. And we end not with a demon or a butcher or a beast, but a ghost. Imagine you are sitting in your home on a dark winter night. You hear a commotion outside. You open your door. Standing there, framed by the darkness, is the skull of a horse. This is Mary Lloyd, the gray mare. It is a real horse's skull, stripped of all of its flesh. Its eye sockets filled with green glass or baubles. It is mounted on a pole. A person is hidden beneath a white sheet. draped from the skull's jaw. It looks like a skeletal, spectral horse rising from the grave. Floating in the air, its jaw is spring-loaded. Snap, snap, snap. It bites at the air as they move. This is an ancient pre-Christian tradition. The Mary Lloyd travels from house to house, accompanied by a group of revelers. But they don't just sing carols. They challenge you. They sing a verse insulting you or demanding entry. You must sing back. You must defeat the skeleton in a battle of wits and rhyme. If you lose, the undead horse enters your home. While it is meant to bring luck, think of the visual. A skeletal horse, drunk on the other world, snapping its jaws in your living room, chasing the women, frightening the children, drinking your ale. It is a reminder of death in the midst of life, the skull at the feast. It is the surreal nightmare that proves the barrier between the living and the dead is actually thinnest in the deep winter. So Krampus, yes.
Who wins in a battle between the Mary Lloyd, did I say that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And Eminem?
Oh, I don't know. I would like to see that, though.
Same.
So Krampus, Fouettard, Trap, Belsnickel, the Yule Cat, and Mary Lloyd, the Grey Mare. They are the monsters we created to make sense of the cold. They are the faces we put on the darkness to try and control it. We told our children, be good or the beast will take you. But perhaps late tonight, when the house is quiet and the wind rattles the window pane, ask yourself, did we invent them or did we just name them? The nights are long, my friend. Keep the fire lit and, for God's sake, check the locks on the doors. The end.
My gosh, that's a wild ride.
Damn that. We went through some shit.
We did.
We went through some shit today. Yeah.
We got whipped. We got boiled.
We got whipped a lot. That's
growled out by a cat.
Like
a skull drink our ale. Had a rap battle.
Sad. Listen, I'm gonna be real upset if I gotta do some kind of rap battle. Mary Lloyd. Which I would, because I can do lots of things. Rapping's not one of those. She be in here like, well, she ain't gonna get my alcohol because I don't have any.
She can have my moonshine.
Yeah,
I guess.
I mean, to be fair, she's a ghost. She can have it anyway. Like, whatever.
Right. Whatever.
Yeah. I would probably just enjoy hanging out with her.
Right?
Because, you know. All right. Well,
let me bring it down.
I mean,
that's what I do here. All right. Back to our missing moments segment. Sergeant James Lee Haynes has been missing since December 7th, 1963, and is widely presumed to have been murdered. His remains have never been found, and no one has been held accountable for his disappearance, although the case remains an active cold case, and it was active recently. Okay, so I'm going to tell a little bit about the details, then I'm going to go into more detail in a minute. He was last seen in the Oak Hill area of Raleigh County in West Virginia, hitchhiking toward his parents' home in Salisville, which is Wyoming County, West Virginia. That's 49 to 50 miles, something like that. He was 32 years old at the time of his disappearance. His birth date is August 10th, 1931. He is a white male, 5'5", 135 pounds. His hair and eye color and identifying marks are listed as unknown, and I had to dig to find his height and weight. So, you know, and it was on the current missing person thing that they just did in November that I finally found out.
Wow.
And I didn't check. I'm sure no one knows what he was wearing, and that will just aggravate me further. He was carrying a suitcase and about $8, which would be about $84.70 in today's money. As I said, this is an active but cold case, and he is presumed murdered. Sergeant James Lee Haynes was awarded a Purple Heart for service in the Korean War. If you don't know, the Korean War was from June 25th, 1950 to July 27th, 1953. He lived in Baltimore, Maryland with his wife Theda Ruth Arnold, whom he married in 1959, and his children Tom and Wanda and twin daughters Brenda and Linda before his disappearance. He was home on leave from Germany. He was traveling to his parents' house in Salisville, West Virginia to deliver Christmas presents before being restationed at Fort Knox. Because his personal vehicle had not yet arrived from Europe, he was hitchhiking from Baltimore, Maryland to his parents' home in Salisville, West Virginia.
Oh, man.
Right. He was last seen by a witness who dropped him off in Oak Hill, West Virginia, about 49 miles from his destination. Investigators believe he stopped at a local tavern in Raleigh County where he got into an altercation with 3 local men. The men, identified as William Trump, James Cozart, I believe, and James Cox, allegedly followed Haynes when he left the tavern on foot and deliberately ran over him with their vehicle, reportedly backing over him repeatedly to ensure he was dead.
Oh.
Then they allegedly buried his body in a holler on Bolt Mountain. And I think you just made a face like I usually make at you.
I finally got that. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was delivering Christmas presents to his parents.
Yeah. Wow.
I hate it here.
I know. Same seas.
Why do I do this? During initial searches of the Bolt Mountain area, investigators found some of Haynes' personal belongings, including his billfold and army dog tags. Bloody rags were also discovered in a hollow tree stump. In 1971, so this is 8 years later, one suspect, William Trump, was arrested and indicted for murder. However, charges were dropped due to lack of evidence, and he was found incompetent to stand trial. He died in the 1990s. I hope it hurt. The other 2 suspects could not be located at the time and were never charged.
Of course not.
How convenient that they just disappeared.
Yeah.
In November of 2025, about 62 years later, authorities initiated a new search of the area after fresh leads emerged. Organized searches in Wyoming and Raleigh counties involved local law enforcement, the U.S. Criminal Investigation Division, the West Virginia National Guard, and cadaver dog teams, local fire departments, volunteer searchers, and excavation equipment. This new investigation focused on Bolt Mountain and nearby sites. Canine teams and searchers located a potential lead during coordinated searches at 2 sites. Specially trained dogs indicated an area that investigators then excavated and examined. That possible lead was collected and sent to a laboratory for testing to determine whether it could be linked to Haynes.
Oh, wow.
At one search location, I mean, it's been this many years. I mean, good for them.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
Meanwhile, Sarah Teague can't get an answer for anything.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic.
And a sore one at that.
Very much so.
At one search location tied to a former residence of a suspect, investigators reported that testing at the scene produced a positive indicator for possible blood, and that sample was forwarded for confirmation and forensic analysis. I mean, it's been this many years, though, so they're going to have to determine if that's his blood.
That's going to be some work, for sure. But
well, he has living children.
That's good.
So I assume they'll be using them for such things.
Yeah.
Local reporting also notes that the family, including Haynes' twin daughters, had long pursued leads and that the renewed activity reflected both family persistence and newly surfaced investigative material that warranted on-the-ground follow-up. The case is still active, as I said, and authorities are seeking information. You can contact the U.S. Army Criminal Investigation Division, the Raleigh County Sheriff's Department, or the West Virginia State Police if you have any information in finding what we are to assume will be his remains. He is believed to be murdered.
I really, really hope that is him. That is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a very long time. That brings me, like, a little tiny bit of hope for a lot of cases that are current. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, it sucks because I'll likely never hear about it myself, but knowing that, you know, and that does happen a lot, to be fair.
I'm glad they're getting answers, but I want to know, again, like people like Sarah Teague, the mother of Heather Teague,
can't
get answers. They're doing things, but they're not telling her about it. than they should be.
What really gets me with her case is that it's been that long and it's been through so many different ins and outs of law enforcement. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's what kills me about that whole thing, because none of them, you know what I mean? No one?
Right.
Yeah.
Is it because she voices too much? I mean, what do they expect her to do?
Right. Well, and as we've discussed, I don't think we really discussed on air just because I try to stay out of a lot of that circus with like Sebastian Rogers' case, for instance. You're either too loud or you're too quiet. There is no in between.
Right.
You're either, if you're quiet, you're guilty of something. If you're loud, you're out there just to profit off of it or get attention or whatever. And it's like, listen, I can't say how I would handle that situation if that were my child.
No.
I can't be like, oh, no, I would never talk to anybody. I would just do it on my own, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I can't say that I would be out there screaming with a bullhorn at everybody that would hear me talk either. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell you. But what I can tell you is that I'll be damned if, especially when it comes to law enforcement or any of the, alphabet agencies or whatever, that they're not going to dictate how I'm handling a situation that they're not handling at all themselves.
Correct.
So that's where I'm at with that. But yeah, it's the same with hers. People go about these things differently. It's it's what makes them feel better about having to do it at all. So
correct.
I am very glad that she is so loud, vocal.
Me too.
Still going, because
yes,
some don't. And I'm not saying that's wrong either, but if that's what it takes to get something, then yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that at some point something happens with that case real soon, because that's entirely too far. And with this, I hope that doesn't just happen after 62
years
without someone doing just that. Something happened for someone to have finally given that lead. So 62 years later, but something. So I really, really hope that that's the case and that we can eventually find out, the results of that. Because we'll definitely update.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I didn't realize whenever I was researching, because I'm trying to do my missing person cases relative to the date we record or release.
Right.
Or at least in the month. That's what I've switched it up to. Yeah. Just because it's hard to choose a missing person case.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, whenever I was reading it and they were like, in November of 2025. And I was like, oh, okay. So that was just happy coincidence.
Yeah. That's crazy. That just happened.
But, yeah.
So, wow. Well, I hope that we can, that's going to take some time. So it's going to take patience to wait. But I mean, if he has living children and all of that, that's going to cut down on a lot of that, I'm sure. It's a long time.
It is.
But even with a lead, even with just getting something that long later is huge. All right. Well, I guess that is all we have for everybody today. As I said earlier, the Christmas characters, that is going to be a whole month long thing, just because I wanted to cover all of them. And there's so many that are really cool. And I did the more known, popular ones today. So over the next couple of episodes, up until 16, and 16 is going to have the last of them. Those are going to be fun. So I hope that you have enjoyed our first winter episode. We sure appreciate you being with us on all of our journeys, and we do hope that you come back. Until then, if you've got your own macabre musings, tales, questions, or dark lore that you're dying to hear, find us on Facebook. Or drop us a line at Macabre.Musings.Podcast at gmail.com.
Pull up a chair next time as we dive into more dark, creepy lore and maybe tumble down a rabbit hole or two. Until next time, keep your lantern low, your curiosities high, and your stockings full of questions.
Alrighty. And we will see y'all later. Bye.
Later.